Welcome to Easy Eats. My name is Chef Yves Dechaine, and today we're in the Greener Villages Learning Kitchen with Luke Randall, owner of Endeavors. Welcome, Luke, and thanks for being on.
Hey, thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. I'm really excited to be on the show today and to be cooking what you have brought for us to cook.
So when I was thinking about what we could make, cupcakes, muffins, they're always fun. Everyone's decorating. And since you own an art supply shop,
Yes.
I thought it'd be really cool to do something like that. And your shop is always full of surprises, so we're going to make a stuffed one. So we're going to be making a lemon cream cheese muffin. So great for breakfast, great for any time.
I love that.
So first thing we've got to do is we've got to set our oven at 375 Fahrenheit, and then we're going to spray our pans. So if you want to grab the pan spray, give it a quick spray.
Sounds
Even
good.
though we're using muffin tin liners, we always want to kind of give it a nice spray, and then we'll put these in, and then you're going to
sounds
spray them again. And that way,
Okay.
when you're peeling them off, nothing is sticking.
Oh, that's clever.
So while you're doing that, tell me how Endeavors got started.
Oh, well, Endeavors was a product of me deciding in high school what did I want to do next year. So I had all of my university applications sitting there, and I had an NBCCD application sitting there, and I was painting in my bedroom/studio, and I was thinking about the fact that I was having a hard time finding art materials. The local art supply store had closed. I had always been entrepreneurially minded. I delivered newspapers as a kid. I mowed lawns. I worked for my grandfather in his business. So I knew that business was a possibility, and I knew that there was a market demand. So I started researching art supplies and art supply manufacturers. I should add a little side note.
Yep.
I really did want to try a business. Like, truth be told, I really wanted to. So not only did I write to 12 art materials manufacturers, whose information I found in a publication called Artist Magazine, which was what every artist read back then. There was not so much of an internet. It was just in its infancy at that point, so people bought real printed things.
Yep.
So I just went through the ads and wrote handwritten letters to 12 art materials manufacturers and also Apple computers, because I was like, maybe I'd like to have an Apple store at 17.
yeah.
So 2 art materials manufacturers wrote back, and Apple computers.
Oh, fantastic.
And Apple said, listen, like, we already have a dealer in Fredericton, but we can always use more. Like, we're always open to that. You just need $150,000 in capital, which, looking back, to have been the Apple dealer and only need $150,000 seems like gobsmackingly low to me. But of course, I was a 17-year-old, so that it was a little bit beyond my reach.
Well, that is, yeah.
So that helped me concretely decide that art materials were the way to go. So that was the start of deciding what to open, and then those 2 letters that I got back were the beginnings of how I chose my brands. So I did all of that research and got the business registered and got an accountant in place, and did all that sort of base work while I was still 17, and then the store was ready to open just after my 18th birthday.
Perfect. And that opened when?
That was back in 1995.
95. Crazy.
Yeah.
So we'll talk a little bit more on that. First, we're going to get the muffins going. So you've got them sprayed just like that. That's ready to go. So onto the muffins. Really simple muffin recipe. So we're going to start off with 2 cups of flour. Into that, we're going to add our dry ingredients. So the dry ingredients would be the sugar, which is a cup of sugar, some salt in there just like that, and our baking powder.
I love this. Can you come to my house and pre-measure everything for me when I bake?
It would be. It's called a mise en place, right?
Okay.
And it's the best way to cook, because what you're doing is you're getting it all ready.
Yes.
So then when you need to put it together, you're not looking, you're not fumbling. Especially when you've got things on the stove, things tend to burn if you're not
course.
quite ready. So
Of course.
we call it a mise en place. And
Like
then
a good business plan.
like a good business plan. Exactly. So then we're just going to mix everything to make sure everything is incorporated and homogeneous, just like this. And then in another bowl, I'll get you to do that.
Perfect.
We're going to add our milk,
Thank you.
all of our wet ingredients. We're going to add our butter. So we're using butter today because, well, we've got guests over, so we're going to use what we have. But if you don't have butter, you can always just use any kind of neutral oil, so any kind of vegetable oil, any kind of canola oil.
Can I
Absolutely
use
use
the
that
spatula?
Thank
Thank you.
you.
So did we melt the butter?
We did melt the butter really, really quickly. So you can do that in the microwave.
Okay.
You need it melted just for ease of incorporation, really.
How long would I microwave that for?
Depends on how strong your microwave
Okay.
is. I always say start at 30 seconds and then go from there because
Okay.
butter tends to splash. So keep it covered, but at the same time, just go from there. And then we're going to add these eggs. So there we go. So don't crack on the side of the bowl.
Okay.
There's a tip is because if you crack, chances are the shells will fall into it. So just crack it right on the side.
No way.
And then just peel them open just like that.
So, do you mind if I?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We'll see how much goes into the bowl.
All
I
the-
think I did okay.
Fantastic. And
Yeah.
then we'll switch. You put this one in here too.
Sounds good. So, crack like this.
Yeah, just crack it right on there like that. And then, yeah.
I'm gonna go this way. It looks like the crack's going this way.
And there you go. Perfect.
Wow.
So you'll see in the recipe that it only calls for 2 eggs, but because I've got medium eggs, not large eggs, I always add 1 extra just to be on the safe side.
Okay.
And then we go. All we're going to do now is I'm just going to whisk this together, and then we're just going to incorporate both of these things together. So, where did you start? You started out of your house, didn't you?
I did. Out of
Like
my parents' house.
like every small business owner,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So at that point, they were living in Harvey.
Okay.
So
that's quite a ways away.
It is a bit. It is a bit of a distance. It was a good place to start. It wasn't necessarily the most high traffic location, but it was a great place to get the store set up and get my feet under me. So I started literally in their front porch on a side street in Harvey.
Yeah.
After 6 months of being there, it became apparent that truly I needed a Fredericton location.
Yeah.
So I opened my store in Mazuka's Lane not that much longer after I'd started in Harvey. So that was the second start, and that's when really things started to move. Was when I moved into that Mazuka's Lane location.
Okay, and then from Mazuka's you went on to Queen Street.
Correct. Yeah.
And then Queen Street, you had all that lovely exposure, and then
Absolutely.
you had artists on the sidewalk painting, and
Absolutely.
that was kind of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot to the artists on the sidewalk weren't things that we organized. People just appeared.
So let's move into these muffins here. So we've got this right here. We're just going to add the wet to the dry. So a lot of people say, what do? Add wet to dry because you can control it. If you add it the other way, things get clumpy, and you want to avoid clumps. So always wet to dry, just like this. And then we'll just kind of mix everything together. And it doesn't have to be this many dishes. Again, that's when we're on the show. There's always these dishes for the mise en place, but then you just kind of bring it together. Not with your whisk, but with a spatula, because what's going to happen is it'll get stuck in the tines of your whisk. Exactly. There we go. Get this together, just like this. So at this point right here, and I'm just going to grab some lemon right here, and I'm just going to add some zest right to the batter.
Sounds good.
And that's just going to bring a pop of lemon to it.
Okay, sounds good.
But before we do that, I'm going to tell everyone we do wash our lemons. Okay. So the best way to wash your lemons is some nice warm water with a little bit of baking soda, and then just kind of scrub it, and it'll pull all these, because when it travels, and they're traveling from Florida, and they're traveling, so there's like a light wax or preservative on them, so you want to make sure that that's off of it. And you should always wash your fruit and vegetables anyways when you get them home from the grocery store.
I was going to follow up with that question, actually. So what about oranges?
Absolutely.
So a little bit of baking soda?
Exactly, because I mean, when you go to the grocery store, you see a lemon, you grab it, you look at it, you squeeze it. Now, how many fingers have grabbed and squeezed that lemon before you brought it in and zested it into your muffins, right? So, all right, so we're going to put the zest of one lemon, and the zest is just the yellow part. You don't want to get into the pith, because that's where you start to get a little bit of that bitter.
So in a pinch, if you're at home, you can't get a lemon because it's the wrong time, you just can't get out. Would lemon juice do in a pinch?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You mean like the real lemon juice that you buy? Or if you've got an orange at home, that works. Any kind of citrus fruit, right? There we go. So we've got our zest in there, just like that, and we'll just mix that in. Right like that.
It smells amazing.
Absolutely, and you can see the baking powder work now. It's all nice and fluffy. So once we've got this here, these are a stuffed muffin. So we're going to fill these a third full.
All right.
And then we'll be back to make a cream cheese filling for these muffins after these few messages.
Excellent.
Welcome back to Easy Eats. Again, we are in the Greener Villages Learning Kitchen with Luke Randall, owner of Endeavors.
Thanks for having me.
We've got the muffin tin full. We fill it up a third, and now we're going to put the stuffing in it, which is a lovely cream cheese stuffing. So we're going to start off 8 ounces of cream cheese. Make sure it's at room temperature. Make sure it's soft. The best way to do it is just take it out the night before.
Okay.
Or there's a really cool trick where you microwave a bowl with water for a minute or so, and then you take it out, empty the water, invert it onto, and then you keep the cream cheese under the plate.
Oh, that's
and
a great
it just kind
idea.
of warms it up really quick and gently instead of putting it in the microwave. Because sometimes when you put cream cheese in the microwave, you'll get that scorch mark.
Of course
and
you do.
Then it affects the flavor of the cream cheese, right? All right, so we got our cream cheese. We're going to add our sugar. We are going to add our vanilla, just like that. And we're going to add egg yolks, and it's just going to make it really luscious and decadent. It's almost like a cheesecake filling.
Wow,
and basically that's what we're looking at. Is kind of minus the sour cream. All right, so we're going to put the zest of 1 lemon in here again, and then I'm also going to juice this lemon.
Perfect.
So what's great is you can use the zest, and then you don't throw the lemon out, and you can just kind of juice it and put into your tea or keep it to make lemonade.
That's a great idea.
There we go. And what's nice is when you zest it, you're squeezing it, and then when you want to juice the lemon, there we go. The most important part about juicing a lemon is you want to make sure that you're squeezing it to break up all the fibers in order to get the maximum amount of juice out of it. There we go. And then recipe calls for 2 tablespoons, but that's more of an eyeballing thing. We just got to watch for pits, which lemons are notorious for. There we go. And that's, I would say, close to. I'll mix it. We'll look at consistency. If I have to add the other juice, then we will do that. But I think we should be pretty good.
Oh, the smell of the lemons.
Well, I know it's nice. It's fresh, right? It's. There we go. We're almost there. Nothing is looking good. I'm just going to grab this whisk here.
So, tell me about the project that was just recently announced. And like I walked in and said, "Oh, can I just move this kitchen home?" And you said, "Well, actually."
Yeah. So I don't know if any of we've announced a huge project here. We're changing or we're really addressing food security here at the Greener Village. So what we're doing is we're building a reclamation center. So we're going to transform food that is perishable, and then we're going to do value added. So the old analogy and what our CEO Alex has been talking about is imagine carrots. So we're getting carrots in, and we can only give out so many carrots fresh before they start to go bad.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do is farmers that have excess carrots or corporations that have excess carrots, send them to us. We'll then transform them. So we'll either make soup out of them, we'll either take them, we'll wash them, peel them, dice them, blanch them, freeze them, and put them in freezer bags. So like at the grocery store, you get a pound of diced carrots. Well, that preserves freshness. You're preserving vegetables at the peak.
Right.
So they are fresh. They're fresh frozen. So that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to do that with anything that's coming in. So if you're bringing in tomatoes, we'll give them out fresh, but we'll also make tomato sauce. We'll can them. We'll preserve them like that. That's what the project is essentially. So we're really addressing food security and hoping to help local farmers.
Okay, so once frozen,
yes,
in helping local farmers, where will all of this food go?
Where will well, we've partnered up with the Food Depot Alimentar.
Okay.
So what we're doing is, and Food Banks Canada. So what it is we're going to help entities like us, like the food bank. So the food will come to the Greener Village. That will go out to our clients. It'll go to the soup kitchen to help them out. It'll help the Salvation Army or up to a food bank and all of the everywhere in New Brunswick. Anyone who's looking for, because we're partnered with Food Depot, so they'll put their order in and then they'll distribute it. So
this will help a lot of people.
We're hoping to produce $4 million of food every year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big. That's amazing.
It is, yeah, and it's just small steps. So us as food banks, we realize, or this food bank, we realize that things are changing, and in order to stay current, we need to evolve with the times. And I think this is where we're at now, is that we have to take food insecurity into our own hands, and we need to kind of to make sure and ensure that everyone's eating healthier. No more of the time, and we're at the time now that things are less fresh. We're going to put more fresh into it, less cans, and people need to eat better and healthier.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, and as climate change is changing crop production, we can afford to waste less and less. So this is genius.
That's right.
So we've talked about carrots. What about if there's a company upriver, for instance, that many of us know, who have excess potatoes or other vegetables or fruit?
Well, the same concept. I think I'm using carrots as the general example. So that's it. Like we'll say that down the road from us, Moxon's has corn. If they have
Right.
excess corn, they can give it to us. Okay, so we've got our stuffing ready. We've got that right there. So we're going to grab our scoops, and then
Nice.
we're just basically, it's in thirds, right? So we're going to add the next third on top, just like that. So if you want to keep
Yeah,
on
sure.
doing that,
Of course.
there we go. And as you put one on, I'm just going to put the topper on, just like this. And there we are. So when did you move to Brunswick Street?
I think we took possession of the building in February 2022, and the renos were working towards completion by the time we moved in May. Am I making a mess here?
No, not at all.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I think we had the doors open mid-May of 2022.
That's fantastic. So this place, was it what you were looking for? Because I mean, on Queen Street you had a lot of traffic, and
Yeah.
and then in the summer with all the tourists and things like that, there was kind of a spots to be. So what made you decide to go up to Brunswick Street, which is a little further out of the downtown core?
The pandemic changed a lot,
Okay.
And where our business comes from and where we sell things certainly changed with the pandemic as well. So a lot of changes were happening downtown. There was less people downtown, and we needed different space. So we were shipping a lot, so we needed an easier access for shipping and receiving to happen. And yeah, this space definitely addressed a lot of what we were looking for. Plus, we get the bonus of working in this beautiful old building. We bought a gorgeous, stunning old building that's now painted bright turquoise. Tyler
Yeah.
picked an amazing color. So as you roll around that the Brunswick Smythe Street traffic circle,
Well, it catches
Circle,
the eye, absolutely.
So it's really truly a joy to work in that building, and we see our customers right now Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and then we focus the rest of the week on shipping, receiving, so people can still order through the week and pick up at our side door, and people can come browse the store Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about eye catching and stuff like that. Your partner Tyler, he does those window displays, and I think those are fantastic. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put
Sure.
these in the oven right now, and then once they're in the oven, let's talk about
Sure,
that. Let's talk
absolutely.
about the work involved and who's involved,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I think it's great. It's artists making art. Again, 375 degrees. We'll pop these in, put them in the middle of the oven, just like this, in about 20 to 25 minutes, or until it comes out clean. So we've got time to chat.
Excellent.
So let's talk about those window
Sure.
displays. So how did they start? Was it something that was a little bit easier to do in the new space, or?
Well, Tyler is always, like, since we've been together, Tyler has done our store windows. We met and started dating, and he was like, store windows, like, I need to do these.
Yeah.
So Tyler has been designing those windows since we've been together. He did them on Queen Street, and then this beautiful display window was available on Brunswick Street when we bought it. It was a dream display space. So he
Nice.
designs windows, and then he engages staff and suppliers to highlight specific products. So right now we have a Wormspan window. Wormspan is a dragon-based board game.
Okay.
A lot of people may know Wingspan, which is a bird-based board game, all-female design team, which is really exciting. I think Wingspan was the very first completely women designed, created board game. They have then moved on, that same design team, to build Wormspan, which is a fantastic game. We just recently actually at our mutual friend Nada's place, the Rocky Lemon, we just
Yep.
did a play event for Wormspan,
Oh, fun.
which was super fun. So that's the game that's represented in the window right now, and Tyler used all kinds of talent at the store and all kinds of art materials to create a beautiful store window that represents that game.
Do you offer any types of lessons, any types of classes? Do you have game nights that happen in the store, or anything like that?
Absolutely. So in terms of painting classes, our focus has always been to support those who teach painting, but what we do in the store is we do some miniature painting. So from time to time you can sign up for miniature painting nights, but then there's also lots of learn to play that happen in the store. So just
Okay.
check out the website. There's an events link. Sometimes we do them in the store, and sometimes we partner with other local businesses to host those events.
So these muffins need to bake just a little bit more, so we'll let them bake during the break, and then when we come back, we'll make a glaze and we'll try those muffins out.
Excellent.
Welcome back to Easy Eats. Again, we have Luke Randall, owner of Endeavors, here with us making these lovely stuffed lemon muffins.
And they look so good.
So we took them out. Now they need to cool before we make the glaze. So I know that COVID has been hard on everyone, and I know that we're kind of over the hump, or we hope we're over this hump. But I mean, how did you guys weather that pandemic, and how did it all come about?
I still remember the day that we decided to shut down. Tyler had been wanting to shut down a few days earlier than I had wanted to. We sell fountain pens. So a common way to get a fountain pen flowing is actually sticking it in your mouth. It pulls the molecules down to the pen, and you can start writing with it. I was helping a young gentleman buy a new pen and gave him a tester pen to try out. He stuck that in his mouth, pulled it out. I think it was March 16th, 2020. And I remember that moment like it's frozen in time, because I flipped the switch in my brain to Tyler's right. We need to shut down right now.
Well, I imagine just doop, 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 yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the next day, we closed to the public. March 16th was the last day on Queen Street that we had a fully open store to the public ever. And Tyler divided us into two groups. Half of the group started to photograph stuff to post on Facebook, to show fun kits and things for families that were trapped at home.
Stranded, yeah.
And then Rola, who no longer works with us, but is still a good friend, she and I just hammered out a website. We'd had a staff person previously prep it, and we managed to get a website up and rolling so that people could start buying within a week. In 2019, I think we did 0.5% of our business online, so half a percentage point. Today, we're up over 75% of our business is online now. COVID
had its downfalls, but it also pushed innovation. So those are cooled off. We are going to make a glaze, which is really simple. A cup of icing sugar. I zested a little bit more zest, always a little bit more zest. Like our friend Nada says, you could always add a little bit of lemon to it.
Nice.
So, and then the zest, we're going to juice this again, and we're going to put about 2 tablespoons. It's surprising how much liquid icing sugar can absorb. So there we go, just like this. All right, and I'm going to start mixing that. So I brought a green apron today when I should have brought a red one. So you've kind of ventured back into the world of politics. So well, let's talk about that. What made you decide to jump back in, and what made you decide to change teams?
Sounds great. Listen, I just want to start off by saying green maples turn red in the fall.
Okay.
So 2020 was a different time, and definitely I look back on that experience with so many fond memories, and we made so many friends. And really, when we think about New Brunswick politics, there were 4 parties in play: the People's Party, the PCs, the Liberals, and the Greens. And this election, the People's Party, in large part, has taken over the PC Party. Many of those ideas have driven sitting MLAs out of office. Many have chosen not to run. So we're down to 3 parties. I had planned on not running, but under the threat of a snap election in October, 2 parties were wooing me to run. And I had a friend ask me, Luke, do you want the job again? And it was an easy answer. If Susan Holt is my boss, yes, absolutely, I want the job.
Let's put this lovely glaze, and all it is just 2 tablespoons of lemon juice in some icing sugar with a little bit of zest, and then you're just going to take your whisk and just kind of glaze it on top. And glaze doesn't have to have any rhyme or reason. It just needs to
be there.
Exactly. And there we go. They are glazed up right like that. So, Luke, thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck on the coming election.
Thank you.
And there we go.
Oh my goodness, this is so good. Well, thank you for letting me do what I've always wanted to, and be able to try the delicious thing that we cooked on this cooking show.
I'm super happy to be able to help you check something off your bucket list.
Thank you.